All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Gentian's bi-weekly update. It is good to have all of our friends on the call today. Thank you for your time and tuning in to us for hopefully about 30 minutes of good information that we can share with you, some of the learnings that we've had over the last couple of weeks, things that are happening in the markets, things that are happening with your financial planning. There's a couple important days to recognize here as well. We're going to hear from Angie Zilka on the team today about happenings, the Gentian happenings, what's happening here at Gentian for the next couple of weeks, maybe even a month out. So we're looking forward to hearing what we're in store for and how we can spend more time with you, which we certainly do enjoy very, very much. So lots going on today. First day of spring was yesterday. We have spring break coming up. Most importantly, Easter is coming up here as well. So we have a lot of holidays and a lot of things to celebrate as we move through the end of March here into April. So as of course, you guys know us, we like to go big. We like to begin in gratitude, really a moment of focus, moment of positivity in our life to really kind of get us in a better spirit, get us in a better mood, get our mindset back onto the positive things rather than sometimes hearing about some of the negative things that do happen from time to time. So mine is, I'll kind of start off, I'll make it pretty simple. My daughter, my 12-year-old Adriana, she asked me to start running a few weeks ago, and we're up to 4 miles. We're training for a 10K together. We're going to cross the finish line together, even though she could easily run 6.2 miles, way faster than I can. But she made a commitment to me that she wants to finish the race together. And as a dad, that just warmed my heart. It actually brings a little tear to my eye because I love my children, love my family, and she wants to finish it together. So I'm pretty grateful about that moment as well. So let's hand it over to Ashley. Ashley, what are you grateful for?
Thank you, Ken. I am grateful for our team. Each and every day we learn something from each other and we challenge each other and learn so many things from Chris with his inspiration. And I can't wait to hear from Chris when he comes back from Abundance 360 next week.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Ashley. Yeah, I
Ken.
appreciate it. Yeah, Chris is a wonderful human being. He's at Abundance 360 right now, which is basically the foremost thinkers in technology and kind of where the world is going, if you will, kind of where we've been with artificial intelligence. That's been the buzzword lately with artificial intelligence, kind of where it's going. What does it mean right now? There's open AI, there's going to be private AI. We heard about some of this yesterday, and how do we actually use it? How does a business actually use it? What does it mean? And I think Chris is they're learning from the very best and some of the best minds in the world when it comes to artificial intelligence, because we hear a couple of things about it that sometimes we're like, is that really true? Is that really how it's going to work? And I think Chris is going to do a great job bringing some details back to us and how we can basically, have how to incorporate it into our business life, bring it into our personal life, stuff like that. So I also heard on the radio when I was coming in this morning, listening to some talk radio about how there are robots delivering coffee and to people, but the robot is expecting a 20% tip. Actually, the eyes actually go up and make eye contact with the person receiving the coffee, which makes you feel a little bit almost obligated to say, yeah, well, I should probably give this robot a tip. But in all reality, some people feel a little uneasy about that once in a while. So it's kind of funny to see what technology and robots are doing in our life. We're going to probably see more and more of that. But again, Chris will come back, I think, at our May forum, I believe it is. Will give us a wonderful download on technology. And it's always a really interesting thing to hear about. So if you haven't signed up for our Blue Mountain event that comes up in May, we certainly will give you the dates to that, and we'll probably talk about it today as well. But that is one not to miss. If there's one thing you want to do, come to that one because it's really interesting. I promise you, Chris will not disappoint you at all on that one. He never does. But so, how about you, Mike?
Thanks, Ken. I am grateful for good old-fashioned love stories. And that being said, I saw this very interesting article, and I think it's very cool that the majority of the world right now finds love online. I think that's a very interesting thing, and it's one of the big benefits of technology. But I have a really good friend of mine here, and he met his now wife at a trip randomly in Vietnam, and he lives in the United States. She's actually from Canada, and they have gone through this huge rigmarole back and forth trying to figure out how she can actually come here and they can get married. And they had to get all these approvals, gone through this whole process. going through times of only seeing each other like 3 months at a time to not seeing each other for 6 months, and been able to persevere over 2 years to now being together. And they've been together for 1 full week now in the same location. I just think that stuff is so cool. So grateful for love, Ken.
Oh, that's good, Mike. I'm glad. A good true love story. It's fantastic, right? So, yep, absolutely. Zach, how about yourself?
You romantic, Michael, you. That's very special. I'm grateful for Chris being at Abundance 360 because I listened to it for about 10 minutes with Peter Diamandis and Ray Kurzweil, and I reached my limit very quickly. So I'm grateful that he can kind of dumb it down for me and tell me what we need to know about. But also grateful for the opportunity tonight. I get to see a family member of mine from Minneapolis that I get to see once a year, once every other year. So I get to go back to the Fond du Lac area tonight and spend time with my cousin and also my parents. So very grateful for that opportunity today.
Very good, Zach. Thank you very much for sure. Michael Birschbach, how about yourself?
Thanks, Ken. I'm just really grateful. I was told yesterday was the first day of spring, so I'm going to believe what I was told. But just for the changing of the season, we made it through another winter. Coming up now on March Madness and the Masters, and just the ability to do things outdoors again. So pretty excited for that.
Yeah, very good. Very good. That's awesome. So, yeah, it's going to be get outdoors and kind of get the itch. We had those couple days in the 60s and 70s that kind of gets you the itch of let's go, right? Summer's here. Let's go have some fun. So, absolutely. So, lots in store today. There's a lot of news out right now. The Federal Reserve meeting kind of ends up today from a 2-day meeting. I know Michael Mann is going to talk about that a little bit as well. But really, it's a Fed decision on what they see as inflation. Of course, one of the big topics that we hear about quite a bit, pretty much every day, is what is the Fed going to do? Are they going to adjust interest rates? Are they not going to adjust interest rates? And I know Mike Mann has a lot to share with that as well. So I do have to kick it off with a dad joke, and I did have a request. I saw it come in, but it's time to get serious right now. I need to address some of the rumors that we're hearing right now. There's been a lot of talk about butter lately, but I'm a man of principle, so I won't spread them. There it is. That was a request from one of our team members. If it didn't go over well, you can blame him. So just kidding. But with that being said, let's turn it over to Mike's Minutes. Let's hear what's going on in the world of news and the markets and what Mike has learned over the last couple of weeks. We'd love to hear what you have, Mike.
Thanks, Ken. And I'm always learning, no matter where I am, what I'm doing. So Federal Reserve meeting happens in 3 hours, 51 minutes, and 37 seconds. If you go to the CME Watch Group or CMEgroup.com, you can have a drink, watch the Federal Reserve ticker come on down. Good times here. But anyways, what the market's kind of expecting right now with that and what it could influence is that right now, and this is straight from the website, there is a 99% chance that they do not change rates, a 1% chance that they lower them. So we're saying there's a chance. But basically, at the end of the day, what the market's kind of looking for right now is just, it's almost as if the market is responding better to consistency. They're looking for the rates to go down. Obviously, it's a good thing for that regard, but coming in strong. There's actually been a trend of this thing called reflation. So we know inflation, reflation, and it's been very interesting because we've lately watched the 10-year Treasury yield go up this year in comparison to obviously where it started. And given that typically is a bad thing for equities. We watched it happen all throughout the recent years with inflation kind of running rampant, pushing things in the wrong direction as yields go up. Well, there could be inflation fatigue. And what we're seeing right now is maybe that modest set of inflation. It's not a bad thing. A moderate amount of inflation is good because that means earnings are increasing for a lot of different companies. But also these high yields are kind of keeping things in check. So as earnings go up and prices are kind of staying where they are with stocks, what that does is it increases valuations. So there's a lot of really good things that you can look at if you want to take a bullish perspective on how this market could maintain the kind of pricing that it has, regardless of the Fed not lowering rates because of those rise in earnings. So that being said, overall, we're going to come back to this topic of diversification. The best thing to do in any sort of market structure is be diversified across different types of asset classes, different types of investments, because it gives you the opportunity to have upside where it is. We're not trying to hit the cover off the ball. I mean, it's great when it happens with an asset class, but that comes just in the wake of owning it to begin with. And what we've seen historically is interest rates, we'll see small caps typically outperform. Small caps have very perform because it's the opposite with high interest rates. So regardless of looking previous and looking at these asset classes that haven't done well, we want to own a small portion of that because that's where we can finally get some traction and watch this thing go in different directions. And that also gives us places to take income for you when you need it. So regardless of the growth in the portfolio itself, you can see it as a whole. You see that entire, we call it the nest egg of money grow over time. There are asset classes inside that are going up. There's asset classes that are going down. No matter what, there's going to be something that we can take income from to help you. So regardless of what the Fed does now in 3 hours, 48 minutes, and 45 seconds, you know that you're in a good place by being in a diversified portfolio. Thanks, Ken.
Mike, we appreciate the detailed analysis up to the second information, which we certainly do appreciate here as well. So thanks for diving into that and giving the listeners some good pieces to be thinking about, kind of how to digest some of the stuff that we're hearing in the news as well. You do a really great job of that. When you talk about asset classes, it's really interesting to see which ones have done well this year, which ones have not done as well. We're actually looking at alternatives in the alternative space right now, and really no one really would have thought that alternatives would have been in the position that they're in right now, and they're doing fairly well this year, which comes as a surprise for many. So back to Mike's point about diversification, you just never know what asset class is really going to perform, what asset class needs more money put into it. So like small cap value, that the small caps that Mike was talking about. I know Zach likes to talk about rebalancing, might be one of his favorite things to talk about. So I'll hand it over to Zach for Zach's facts about what's happened with the markets and what Zach sees with that piece.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. I'll go through kind of where we're at for markets for the year, a few updates on fixed income, a couple random facts. But before I jump into there, just kind of wanted to go through a few things that we're working on behind the scenes. We often get asked, what are some other things that you're working behind the scenes? We talked about in the beginning, Chris, being an Abundance 360. Over the short term, you never know what occurs, but there may perhaps be no better time in human history to be an investor with the things coming with technology that he mentioned. So that's one. We're also meeting a lot with centers of influence. Those are estate planning attorneys, accountants, health insurance specialists, real estate agents, lenders, trying to figure out what they're seeing in their industries so that if something comes up in your scenario, we may not be able to answer it. We may know enough about it to send you in the right direction. And also a huge one coming up that you'll hear more about, and I'm sure will be touched on today as well before we finish, is the event we have in April of Where Will You Live? It may not apply to you yet, but it may apply to your parents or a family member that you have to go with this decision. And it's becoming one of the largest decisions that we're seeing for people once they're retired is, do I want to stay in my current home? Do I want to make this decision while I can, or have someone make it for me and have where I want to go laid out? So it's becoming a huge planning piece for us, for both somebody going through it for themselves or going through their parents for a loved one. So keep an eye out for the invites for that. We're extremely excited about that. We're partnering with a lot of other people in different industries to try to bring it all together and make it succinct. So that's one major thing we're working on behind the scenes for you guys. As far as the markets go, the Dow Jones up about 3.7 for the year. It's up about 1% over the last 2 weeks. The S&P 500 is around 8.5% positive. It's up 2% in the last 2 weeks. The NASDAQ, which again is weighted toward 50% towards technology, it's up about 7.7%. The Russell 2000, which Mike mentioned, the smaller size companies still being undervalued, that's just under 1% still for the year positive. So lagging behind it yet again. International 2.8, about the same as 2 weeks ago. And emerging markets, still another asset class that has been lagging behind really since COVID and even a little bit before. So still a lot of value in those areas. On the fixed income side of things, as Mike mentioned with interest rates as well, the 1-year treasury current yield is right around 5%, the 5-year 4.3, and the 10-year 4.3 as well. Just two kind of random facts for you. The S&P 500 rose 8.3% year to date through the 13th of March, and it was the 14th time since 1953 that it rallied over 7.5% in the first 50 trading days of the year. The 13 prior years that the index gained 7.5% or more, the median rest of the year gain for the index was an additional 7.7%. with positive returns 92% of the times. So never know what the future holds, but historically, when we have this good a start to the year, it leads to a positive return for the rest of the year. We shall see. And then the last one, the consumer price index. Inflation is a very hot topic right now. Still rose 3.8% year over year in February compared to forecasts of 3.7. While it was higher than expected, the CPI, the core CPI, has been flat or lower on a year over year basis for 11 straight months, which is the third longest streak on record. So we had that huge spike of inflation, and it's been steadily going down, but it is still there, as Mike mentioned, as we're still seeing as well. So with that, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Zach. We appreciate that. Thanks for all the insight there with the markets and what's going on there. And also with the Where Will I Live workshops coming up, which is going to be, we're going to hear from some industry experts on that piece. And, pulling out a few nuggets here and there from those presentations are always the key to that. And just helping you, help yourself educate yourself, right? That's what we're trying to do, is try to put information out there, good information. And also so you can make a great decision for you and your family and what you feel is best. There's many different ways to do the whole idea of where will I live. It just depends on what your goals are, how you operate, how you like to be around people. Some people love to be super connected. Some people say, hey, if I see people once in a while, I'm good with that, right? So there's different ways to do that. And a lot of people want to say, you know what, how can I stay in my home as long as possible? And what does that look like as well? So there's really not the way to do it. There's not really a way to do it. There's just your way to do it, which is the key to all this. So again, we're trying to bring resources to you. Back to what Zach was talking about with the centers of influence. That's really our network, if you will. And a lot of you like to tap into the network that we know. We've vetted people. We're still vetting as well. We like our partners. We're always looking for additional great partners to add to that, to make the resources even stronger and even better for you. So we do spend time doing that. It does take a lot of work because there's a lot of attorneys out there. There's a lot of tax people out there. And we want to make sure that if we make a recommendation to you with some of those people, some of those partners, that we hope that they will do a great job for you. That's really what our goal is there for you. So try to make your outcome become even better than what it already is. So we appreciate that as well. So I would like to bring on Ashley now. And so for Ashley's acumen of financials, she has some really good pieces here. She's going to share them with us. Ashley, what do you have in store for us today?
Thank you, Ken. If you're like me, you've been a part of a conversation that has dealt with the cost of groceries and the increase of prices when you eat out. Well, that is why I bring to you today the idea of home delivery services once again. Yes, it can seem like an overwhelming task because of the amount of variety that is currently out there, but that puts us, the consumers, in the driver's seat. So please consider one of these meal delivery services. It's an excellent option to save time. It can also save you money, and it gives you the ability to cook at home in the kitchen and not eat out as often. So there's a plan for almost every diet type if that's a concern of yours. They have a lot of meal options that you get to choose from each and every week. You can pick a portion of 2 sizes, you can pick a portion of 4 sizes, and on up the options go. All ingredients are pre-packaged for you. They come in an insulated box, so they can stay outside for a few hours if you're not home. And again, it comes right to you, so there's no waste on proportions. There's also a recipe page that comes with it. It includes pictures, even step-by-step, and you get to keep that recipe for your future cooking needs. You can always have the option to skip a week if you don't need it or maybe are out of town. You can be also on the watch for the incentives that they might put out for you, or you can always switch brands. Again, there's so many options to choose from that you can suspend a subscription that you are currently using and take the offer that a new company may be offering out. Just a few that I came across. HelloFresh has 10 free meals across 7 boxes, including a free dessert. Home Chef has 18 free meals at the moment. It includes free shipping on the first box, as well as dessert for life if you're interested. Green Chef has 60% off your first box and 20% off for 2 months after that. So please go check it out. I challenge you to consider the convenience of a Home Chef delivery box to your home. And if you are a little bit hesitant to try this, Kroger Brands is actually the owner of Home Chef. So they sell their kits at Kroger grocery stores. So if you're cruising through the grocery store, you see a Home Chef kit, give it a try. There's a lot of options that are sitting in those coolers, and you may be interested. A Blue Apron also partners with Walmart is something that I discovered. So check out Walmart, and there may be a Blue Apron meal sitting there waiting for you to try. A lot of credit card offers out there also. So for me, myself, I looked up my American Express Blue Card Cash every day. And if I spend or I subscribe to Home Chef, I can get $15 a month in credits up to $130 a year. So that's a couple of free meals. So I challenge you again to look at your credit card offers along with a whole meal delivery kit. Thank you, Ken. Back to you.
Thank you, Ashley. We certainly do appreciate that. And I think you had every listener on this webinar right now. It's going to listen now and later. I think you had them at Dessert for Life. I really think you had them there. It reminds me of my daughter. There's a place in town here. It's called Skippy's, and every time we drive by it, she's like, "Hey, is that where you just skip the main meal and go to the dessert?" Anyways, it's a kind of a little dad joke there. But thank you, Ashley. That is very helpful. You know, I've heard some of you say, I'm just not sure how to put a meal together, or not sure how to cook, or not sure what ingredients to put in there. What a great way to do something at home together as the family, put the meal together, enjoy it, talk about it, and enjoy the meal and break bread together, which is fantastic. So we appreciate that. Ashley, thank you for bringing that to us. I'd like to pass it over to Michael Birschbach, please, and like to hear what Mike has in store for us today.
Thank you, Ken. Today, I just want to talk about some considerations for those who are working in retirement. We're seeing, and some retirees want to actually work in retirement to occupy some of their time. It gives them structure, purpose, and some extra spending money. But first, working later, I'll state the obvious. It's going to help delay drawing from those retirement accounts with the income that you're bringing in. Even if it doesn't cover all of your expenses, it certainly helps. Through that job as well, you could be eligible for some benefits that you wouldn't have to pay for otherwise. Second, you buy more time to qualify for government programs. Of course, you're eligible for Medicare at age 65, and you can delay taking your Social Security, which the longer you wait to take that benefit, we know the more that increases over time. More on the negative side, if you make too much income, and you're drawing Social Security, it can actually reduce what your benefit is. There's different limitations that have been adjusted for 2024. And if you are of RMD age, you still do need to take those required minimum distributions from your IRAs. And to finish, working doesn't have to be a formal job. You can consider consulting, starting your own business with something that you learned over the course of your career or life. And if you don't really need the money and want to occupy some of that time, volunteering can help you find purpose. Everyone's situation, of course, is unique. If any of these apply to you, or if you have any questions or want to talk more about them, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to talk with you. Thanks, Ken.
Michael, appreciate that. It's really good insight there about like the idea of pivoting. Like retirement is one thing about, you know, kind of getting away from where you are today and stopping what you're doing and moving on to something else. Sometimes people pivot, not necessarily to doing nothing or having more of their time back, if you will, but they pivot to more of a passion play sometimes that we're seeing right now. And so this word pivot has been coming out more and more, and we're hearing from people about, I want to pivot. What does pivot mean? When do we want to pivot? What does that look like? What do we need to get in place today so we can pivot to wherever we want to pivot to? So that's kind of the buzzword I'm hearing lately is pivot instead of retirement. But again, some of those things mean the same thing to different people. So that's why we always ask, when you say pivot, what do you mean by pivot? When you say retirement, what do you mean by retirement? What does that look like for you? We always want to know what your version of it is, rather than maybe our perceived notion of what pivot means or what retirement looks like for you as well. So that is a good piece there. Thank you, Michael. Very good. We also have Angie here for the happenings. I'm going to bring her on in 1 second. I want to hear what her go big is, of course. Before that happens, I want to talk about staying the course, talk about planning a little bit as well. There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of headlines right now with inflation, the election. There's a lot of different headlines that are going to take up space pretty soon. And actually right now as well, if there is a little bit of bad news that happens, you're going to start to see the media jump all over that and things will turn negative very quickly. It's a very important to stay to your plan. And we want to applaud you all for sticking true to your plan. It's not easy sometimes. Sometimes you wonder. We've been through this before. We have a good handle on this piece. We have a lot of retirees that have been doing this for 20 years or so, plus 25 years in some cases. So we've seen a lot of cycles. You've seen a lot of cycles. And we know that a really key to this is staying true to the plan, keeping your eyes on the plan of where we're going longer term with all this, rather than a shorter term version of that. So I want to applaud you all. You all have been wonderful. We thank you for your dedication. We thank you for staying the course. We thank you for all of that goes into that, because sometimes it's not easy. So thank you very much. Angie, today is International Day of Happiness. Are you aware of that? Yes, I think. I think so. We'd like to hear from Angie right now a little bit on International Day of Happiness, and she's also going to talk about the happenings at Gentian as well here. So,
thank you, Ken. Yes, I am aware that today is International Day of Happiness. So put on those smiles. I know Chris likes to, let's just take 1 minute and smile for everyone. They are contagious. So when you're out today, just make sure you're smiling to everyone and spread some happiness today. So we're going to go through a few things that Gentian has going on upcoming here. We're going to go pretty far out into the year because we do have some events that we already have details on. And just as a reminder, everything can be found in the bulletin that is emailed out on a weekly basis, and all RSVPs can be accessed through that bulletin as well. Or just feel free to give us a call and register for anything that you find interesting that we have going on here upcoming. So today, the ladies of Gentian will be hosting our webinar, and we will be exploring mindfulness. We have a great yoga and meditation instructor that will be joining us. So if you have not RSVP'd, ladies, please join us. It's really a great conversation, and we're going to share some great ideas today. So that's going to be something to look forward to. That is at 10 a.m. via Zoom. Again, the link and the RSVPs are in your weekly bulletin. Friday, March 29th, our offices and the markets will be closed in observation of Good Friday. And then, of course, March 31st is Easter Sunday. So just wanted to wish everyone a very happy and blessed Easter from everyone here at Gentian. And hopefully you have a wonderful day with your family. Wednesday, April 17th is our April birthday lunch. So again, if you have a birthday in the month of April, please come and join us. It's such a wonderful lunch. We have a lot of conversation and great food. We recently started sharing pictures of younger versions of ourselves. So that's kind of a fun addition to that as well. So that's going to be on April 17th. Again, RSVPs are available in the bulletin. Wednesday, April 24th, and Thursday, April 25th. I know the gentlemen have mentioned this a couple times, but we will be hosting a Where Will You Live retirement readiness workshop and informational luncheon. So we will have a panel of experts, a Q&A, friends, family, kids, grandkids, yourselves, everyone is welcome. So that's going to begin on Wednesday, April 24th. It's going to be held over at the River Club. We're going to do a arrival and refreshments. We'll have a workshop and a lunch. And then on Thursday, April 25th, you can register for tours of various facilities, and we will be hosting tours of those You can RSVP during the workshop on Wednesday, or again, there is a barcode in your bulletin that you can RSVP to, or just feel free to give us a call, shoot us an email, and let us know. It's the girls have been working really hard. The gentlemen are putting together some great information. So please join us for that. We will also be hosting a volunteer opportunity at the Milwaukee Domes. A few of our team members will be spring cleaning at the Domes, and that's going to be Wednesday, April 10th. For a few hours in the morning from 9:30 to 12:30. Please feel free to join us. You can, again, sign up on through the bulletin. And we will be volunteering, cleaning up some beds, planting some new flowers at the Dome. So it's for all you gardeners out there, it's just a great opportunity to come and join us and do something great for the community. Looking a little further ahead, we do have information already on our concert in the park over at the Rotary Park in Mequon. That's going to be Sunday, July 14th. So that is our annual live worship, and it's going to feature modern music from some Christian bands that we have, Unspoken, and also Windy Hope. So everyone is welcome for that. Bring your children, bring your grandchildren, bring your neighbors, bring your friends. We would love to have you guys. Again, that is July 14th. So save the date for that, and more information is available in our bulletin. And then lastly, join us for our next bi-weekly webinar, and that's going to be on April 3rd. And that's all I have, Ken.
Angie, that is a lot going on here. We appreciate that. So we could have a whole segment just Gentian happenings. It would just be you talking about it. So
for sure.
So we do appreciate all that going on, and we appreciate when you come out and spend time with us. We really enjoy that. That Rise and Shine Day that she mentioned on July 14th is a really, really special event. It might be, it's really at the top of our list for which ones we really enjoy, and we enjoy them all. But if we had to rank them, that really ranks up there pretty high for us. And we really appreciate all support of you guys coming out and listening to some great music. The conversation that we get to have too is really, really enjoyable for us. So we thank you for that. So a lot going on here. So please sign up for these things. The Where Will You Live one, we put a lot of work into that. The team has done a great job. Some team members aren't on here that are really responsible for that. So we thank you all for your contribution, team. And hopefully we can put on a pretty good presentation for you, and you can learn a lot more stuff that maybe you have heard before. Maybe some of it is mythical, maybe some of it is true. But again, here to educate you as much as possible. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys. Thank you for listening. I want to thank our clients. We appreciate you very, very much. We also want to thank you for your time that you spent with us today. We definitely appreciate that. Those who are enjoying spring break, travel safe. If you are traveling somewhere, safe travels. Happy and blessed Easter, like Angie said, that's coming up this weekend. So we want to thank you for that. And also thank you for the introductions that you've been so kind to us with, that you introduce to your family, your friends, people you care and love about. We appreciate that. It keeps Gentian strong. As a team, we try to stay as strong as possible to give you the best information and really how to guide your family down the right path when it comes to the financials. So I want to thank you very much. Enjoy your day, and you guys have a great day. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.